All right, I want to go over, can we push higher in the SPX, kind of what I'm watching, and risk assets, Tesla, Hood, Nvidia, kind of tech assets. Is the bounce coming in Bitcoin? I guess we kind of already had the bounce in a way. I also want to go over the hype drama that went down today, and then kind of my positioning in Tesla. I did say I was buying calls last video, so let's go over that real fast. So first thing I want to go over is the Bitcoin levels. I always like to share that with you guys. What am I looking at? Basically, we have this single prints here, and we have this range. If we get above here, I think we get into some low volume area, which basically just means price can get kind of slippery through here, so we could kind of see some fast price movement. I do think this is kind of the first resistance you have. It's basically like this consolidation just visualized here. So that's where I'll be looking for the first resistance if we do break above. If we can break above that and we kind of run all these stops, I mean, I could see a tag into here and some resistance, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, this is going to be previous week VWAP. It's going to be this, let me show you guys on the TPO. It's going to be this like 3-day range low here. So it might be a good short, but we'll see when we get up there. I always talk about watching the flows, and that's basically all I do when we get to these levels. How the flow is showing me what's going on. So I'm not going to jump the gun, but these are the levels I'm watching. If we do push lower, that's fine. I mean, if we come back in here and we get a stab lower, maybe we get another long down here, or even around here, the VWAP kind of snakes up. We get this value area low retest. Um, I'm really not picky, but if we get, I mean, basically what I'm betting on is that we get the bounce in SPX, and then we get more upside, but I'm not really positioned for it. I actually took the short this morning off this single print level I was telling you guys about in the news. So yeah, that's basically it. The flows, what are they showing? Kind of a nothing burger right now. They are flipping red, as you guys can see, but the what am I trying to say? The 5% is flipping more, the 10% has flipped red. So we'll see. I mean, there's not a lot of like the order book depth overlay isn't really showing much. So excuse me. The order book depth overlay isn't showing much, which means it's not really at an extreme at all just yet. So it's, there's not really actionable in my opinion. Yeah, it's turning red, but it seems like they're eating through the liquidity anyways. So, what does it matter? Yeah, there can be a big flip red, but if we're eating through all the assets, actually bullish in my opinion. So, anyways, open interest is kind of ticking up on this move. Okay, so basically what happened, it looks like it got wiped here. You guys can see, and then we just have kind of added a bunch of risk on. And we'll see if it gets punished. Remain to be seen. If we poke above, do we stall here and just kind of slow bleed and black down, or does it not matter and we just blast? We'll see. I think it's more dependent on SPX. Just not nuking. I think if it can just not nuke, I think we'll be okay. Let's see. I think there is some news tomorrow. Let me pull up the news here. I think we have PPI. Yeah, so we have PPI tomorrow. Kind of same thing with CPI. I was basically playing the good print or inline print on CPI. We got that. We bounced. Let's get a good PPI or in line. I think we bounce again. So that's what I'm playing for. I bought more Tesla calls. I basically sold them at the open because they were up so much. And I just repositioned around like 1 246 or something. So I repositioned in Tesla. Um, what other things did I want to go over? Can we push higher? I guess we've been talking about that. SPX, there is something called the JPM collar, and it's sitting around, I forgot the exact price. I think it's around here. So we might just see price kind of pin until OPEX, but I'm not playing that. I'm thinking we're gonna get upside because of PPI. Um, that's kind of, I mean, that's what I'm positioned for, to be honest. So if it happens, great. If not, then I made the wrong call. But that's definitely what I'm positioned for. Um, yeah, I mean, we did get a nice bounce yesterday across assets. I think it continues if we get a good PPI. So basically, what I betted on, um, the hype drama. I guess it wasn't really drama. What happened? I didn't really. I guess I really didn't understand it fully, so I might get some stuff wrong. But from my understanding, the guy opened a massive position in ETH, and then what he basically did was he pulled liquidity off of the site, so he was withdrawing, and it kept bringing his liquidation price closer and closer as price was increasing. So his price was basically he longed ETH and he was in profit. And then he was pulling money out of the exchange, pushing his liquidation closer and closer and closer. So then they would be they would be forced to liquidate his position once it went down. It was forced, liquidated, and then Hyperliquid was basically stuck with a bunch of toxic flow. What's toxic flow? It's basically just like a massive, market order that kind of nukes the price. As a market maker, which is what Hyperliquid runs, you don't want a bunch of toxic flow. Toxic flow is bad because, if you think about it, you're a market maker, here's price, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to provide liquidity, and someone just goes, um, blam, and if room to draw it, but and they just go blam right through, and your inventory is like, let's say mostly long, you're screwed. So they lost a lot of money on that from what I've seen. I mean, the fund's huge, so I don't think it really impacted them that much. They did adjust the leverage on there. I think they lowered the leverage so it would impact it less next time. But just something, who knows what it was. It could have been someone just chasing the big short interest. On Hyperliquid, if you open a massive position, people can see it. So, you're basically chasing it. People are going to pile in with you, and then maybe you go short on another exchange. Um, and then liquidate yourself and then make another crap load of money on the other way and then just deposit withdraw your money. But just some game theorizing, who knows, maybe someone like Lazarus and stuff, they normally test these liquidation engines to see if they're exploitable. I don't really know why, but I've heard stuff like that on Twitter. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I'm just the I'm just a flows nerd. I'm not really big into the actual stuff behind it. So, anyways, I did want to go cover that at least. I did tell you guys I did get out of my hype spot kind of a while ago, and yeah, I mean, we're still kind of gonna see what's gonna happen with it. I think so. Let's say Bitcoin bottoms like between here and 70K, and then hype either stays here and does this, or it goes down even lower. I mean, the next bear market, I probably will pick some up. But I just don't know about right now. So, um, just kind of what I'm thinking there. Other than that, let me check my notes. Went over Tesla. We went over the levels in Bitcoin. We went over the bounce, I think, in SPX we're gonna get. I went over the hype drama. I think that's kind of it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. Interesting spot we're in near the highs here, so watch the flows, pay attention. Oh, one thing I did want to go over kind of a nugget if you made it this far. This volume by side aggregation indicator, I have actually been loving it, especially on the low time frames. It really is showing you when positioning is getting crowded. So I had it on this morning when we got this push up, and so I basically added these 400 million um, bars. It kind of shows when it gets oversold or whatever. And I mean, look, I mean, this trade was really great. So you had the order book depth blowout, you had the everyone slamming long, and then you had this open interest, and then you had the liquidation. So it all kind of came together on this one, and then also the area. So yeah, just a little tidbit if you guys made it this far. That's what I was looking at on that trade this morning. All right, I think that's it. Any questions? Always feel free to throw them in the comments. But thanks, guys.